people really want to know how to manifest. I mean, that's really, I think what people don't realize is we're manifesting all the time. And when I show them, you know, a very simple explanation, they go, wow, we are manifesting everything all the time. Everything in this entire realm that we can see and understand is all about frequency and waves. And if you can match the subatomic frequency of another parallel universe, you can step from this one directly into that one. What we're trying to do is teach a person how to establish a quantum entangled link with the universal consciousness and create this law of attraction a paradigm. But once the belief breaks or wavers, you snap that link. And now the process has to go back and start all over again. But now you have to get all that fear and anxiety out of your heart all over again. You can't operate in fear. First thing is you need to operate in unconditional love. You must operate in unconditional love for yourself, because if you don't love yourself, that's where it moves into a specific area, which we are right now, this galactic equator, where there's a lot of cosmic rays streaming out from the galactic center towards our planet and hitting our planet. It could reactivate some of this ancient stone technology and also reactivate some things inside our own DNA as well.
Well, we just looked at the pulsing of the galactic core almost overnight. It's 16,000 light years away,
across, yeah.
Which happens to be the last cycle, the last precession of the equinoxes.
Right.
So it's kind of saying to us we're due for another.
Right. It's this great cycle, you know, and we hit this. We got close to that equator of that galactic supermassive black hole around 2012, because our solar system kind of undulates around the galactic disk. It undulates up and down, you know, kind of like a snake or whatever you want to call it. And right now we hit that point where we're getting all these direct rays coming right at us, and we're being inundated with these cosmic rays. This is real science.
So do you think it's going to be an awakening of consciousness, or there's going to actually be like some massive planetary changes, or maybe a little bit of both?
I think probably a little bit of both. I think that you're going to see people raising consciousness. You're also probably going to see a lot more indigo kids, if you want to call them that, or people being born that are our natural innate abilities that we're supposed to have right now turned on. You know, maybe more psychic powers, maybe more telekinesis, maybe better intuition, better discernment, higher IQs. All these things I think we're going to start to see coming forward a lot better.
So Bashar talks about the hybridization agenda of beings that lost their humanity, that tunneled in from another time matrix to try to get some of our DNA, and that's what the hybridization is all about. And also the children who are the hybrid children. And he said that the hybrid children that come through right now, that around that time, 2030, 2040, that they and the Earthlings are going to come together and create the 6th hybrid race.
Wow.
So do you resonate with some of that?
That's interesting. I mean, you know, anything is possible, especially when you're talking about multiple dimensions, even parallel universes. So with parallel universes, you know, what I'm digging into the quantum mechanics now and the quantum physics, and realizing that we are living in a multiverse. This is pretty well taken now by a lot of theoretical physicists. But if you look at what separates those two universes, and it looks like a frequency, because everything in this entire realm that we can see and understand is all about frequency and waves. And if you can match the subatomic frequency of another parallel universe, you can step from this one directly into that one. And so who's to say there's not beings out there that have already mastered that level of technology where they can move from dimension to dimension or from universe to universe? And it's just a matter of knowing the codes and knowing the right frequencies, and you can literally step right in. So I think that there's walk-ins from other dimensions, walk-ins from other universes that are amongst us right now. We have no idea even that they're here.
Have you heard of a being named Omega? Omega?
No, only from the Bible says I am the Omega. And
so supposedly he's a time traveler who is with this group, and they kind of figured out from our future and figured out how to time travel and came back, and he communicated to someone 3 times and gave this whole download of the mechanics of it and how they did it, and said that it's against the law now, that they created the group that made it against the law. But he did say that time travel is is tricky, but I also heard higher dimensional beings, do it all the time. And there's so many. He said the problem is you go to a different timeline,
right,
and you can kind of get lost. But if you can tune to the right coordinates, supposedly you can go travel the multiverse.
Right. It's interesting you said that, because I was just having a conversation with somebody about traveling back in time, and they were asking me about the grandfather paradox. So if you travel back in time and kill your grandfather, how did you travel back in time in the first place, right? You should have never been born. And my answer was, when you go back in time, you're going into another timeline, a parallel timeline. So you can effectively then kill your grandfather and still have gone back in time, because you were born in a different timeline. And
bifurcates all the time.
That's right.
Do you believe that there is one time and it is now, that now encompasses all these different potential timelines?
Well, I just try to live in the moment of now, and that's what I try to do, so that I can enjoy the maximum exposure I have to this third density and this avatar body I've been given. But at the same time, I understand with multiple dimensions, if I were in a higher dimension, or my higher self, because we're multidimensional beings, we experience the past, the present, and the future all at once.
Right.
So everything is happening simultaneously.
And when you tap into that and recognize that anything that I ever desired and wanted to do, or that has happened or will happen, is happening right now, then I see it as steering onto like which timeline you want to manifest, using your joy and inspiration for that. And you've been able to accomplish a lot and create a lot of amazing things. And is that kind of your rudder? How do you navigate?
I just believe in manifesting my reality. I have been doing it for a very long time without even knowing about it, and doing some of the tactics and techniques that it takes to do the manifestation process to create my own reality tunnel. And as I got older and began to realize what I was doing and started researching manifestation, I realized I was doing about 60% of the things that were needed to do it, which is probably why in those areas of my life I was excelling all the time. And so I then really started to apply 100% of the techniques. I actually teach a class called Manifest Destiny.
Really?
Yeah, I've done 2 of them already in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The third one's March 22nd at the Ritz-Carlton in Fort Lauderdale. And each one has been sold out, and people are coming back to me with the most amazing results from using my techniques. I guess
you asked the right question.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much going on in the world, we can just get distracted by. We're here to be creators and do our thing. So what are some tips you can help our audience with manifestation? Because I didn't know you teach courses on this stuff.
Oh, I teach courses on manifesting. Matter of fact, we had 2 very successful courses already, and the third one's March 22nd at the Ritz-Carlton in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
And both have been sold out. This one's already sold out. And because people really want to know how to manifest. I mean, that's really, I think what people don't realize is we're manifesting all the time. And when I show them, a very simple explanation, they go, wow, we are manifesting everything all the time. I'm like, yeah, nothing would even be here. My shirt wouldn't be here, my watch, your clothes, this table, these cameras, nothing would exist if we weren't manifestors. We manifest everything into the third dimension 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I try to tell people the most important thing you have to have is belief, 100% belief in the thing that you're going to manifest. It's going to happen, that it's going to be achieved, whether it's a physical object or a non-physical object. The belief is the most important part, because without that you have nothing. Because what we're trying to do is teach a person how to establish a quantum entangled link with the universal consciousness and create this law of attraction paradigm. But once the belief breaks or wavers, you snap that link. And now the process has to go back and start all over again. But now you have to get all that fear and anxiety out of your heart all over again. You can't operate in fear. That's why I tell people, turn off the news, disconnect the news. If you got to cut your TV off, cut the TV off, disconnect your cable service, whatever it takes.
I think we both haven't had TV for a long time.
12 years I haven't had it. Doesn't matter, you don't need it. That's nothing but fear pumping. And that fear pumping is the best way to be manipulated, because once I create the fear, then I can provide the solution, and now I'm like your puppeteer, and I can just make you do whatever I want. Problem, reaction, solution.
I made this coronavirus video. Talked about Gates funding the pandemic, the Netflix show and all that, and also the vaccine company. And so I said that don't fear, boost your immune system, take medicinal mushrooms, and my message was, maybe it's a hoax in a sense to get us to take a vaccine, but it was the opposite of fear. It gets taken off of YouTube. Meanwhile, I see all these fear. It's way worse than we thought. People are dropping dead. They let all those go.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like they're like,
we need the fear, because the fear will give us all the control we want.
physicist Fred Allen Wolf said, belief schools perception and perception precipitates reality. So I that's always stuck with me. Totally, it's all about belief. So how do people shift their beliefs so they can get in that vibrational resonance with that outcome they want to see?
A couple of things you have to do. The first thing is you need to operate in unconditional love. You must operate in unconditional love for yourself, because if you don't love yourself, that's where it has to start. Because if you get on an airplane and the airplane's having a situation and those oxygen masks drop, they tell you right when you get on the airplane, first give yourself the oxygen before you help anybody else. So if you can't love yourself internally, if you can't go inside the inner space and get that unconditional love for yourself, forgive yourself for all the mistakes you made in the past, forgive yourself for all your wrongdoings, forgive yourself. Don't rely on any external source for forgiveness. Forgive yourself. That's important. Then forgive others. It doesn't mean you're going to have to go and be your best buddy with somebody who did something to you wrong, or just say, look, internally, I bless this person, I wish them the best. Hopefully they wake up to the ill of their ways and they become a better person. That's it. And but mean it. You don't have to go hang out with them, you know. And if somebody cuts you off in traffic, just don't get mad and chase them down and flip them off and all of that. Just say, look, I bless this person. Hopefully they make it to their destination safely, and hopefully there's nothing wrong with them. We don't know what's happening with that person. They could have got a bad call from their wife. They could have had a situation at work. They could have got a call that their kid got injured. Anything could have happened. They can even be sick or ill mentally, or maybe even physically, having a stroke or heart. We don't know what's going on. So why chase somebody down and have this road rage? When you get into the mindset of unconditional love for every single being and every sentient being on this entire planet and in the universe, and think about the fact that the divine energy is in you and you can bless these people just by saying it and thinking it, that's going to put you at a high vibration. You know?
And high frequency superfoods helping you to like keep your body conscious of that's good as well. But to look at things that negative things that happen and to own it and say I created that, and to be able to recognize that you don't get hung up on the negativity, that the opposite must exist, because we live in duality. That could probably help too.
Exactly. And then I tell people during the manifestation process, they don't have to become a vegan, but if they can eat more plant-based foods, high energetic foods, because DNA stores memory. And because DNA stores memory, if you're eating something that's been tortured, or that was in fear before it died, or sick or whatever, and you ingest that, you could be thinking you were at a high frequency, but it literally could take your frequency down right through your toroidal energy field, take the frequency down, and now what you're thinking is a high energy field is not anymore. So I suggest during the manifestation process to go more for a plant-based diet, because if you really want this thing, you're going to do everything you can to make it happen. Some people are better at things than others. So some people go, well, this guy that I know is he eats and he eats that, and he's a bad dude and he's getting all this stuff all the time. Well, there's just some people that are just in tune with a frequency, born that way. If you look at basketball, for example, I coached Team USA, Junior Olympics, and I coached AAU at a high level, 15 gold medals.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so I've been around a lot of athletes, and I've seen athletes that have trained and worked out night and day, day and night, and I've seen athletes that barely come and show up and work out, but they're still better than the ones that have been training, their whole lives.
Yeah, it's amazing when we can manage the frequencies and manage our thoughts, and to look at, everybody's different. So one diet works for some person, not for another. We have to see what works. We know we have the answers, and to take a time to cleanse and be vegan for a while, that's amazing, because you get so high and you're feeling so good, and when you want to ground out and maybe you go back to animals that we've been eating for millions of years, but it has its place, and it appears it has its place
during the manifestation
as well.
During the process. I'm not saying for everybody you got to go vegan. I'm saying during the process, switch to more of a plant-based. Reduce your meat intake. You don't have to cut it completely out, but reduce it. Increase the high energy foods, plant-based superfoods.
And what we do with this stuff is, like, we'll do the coffee break or cacao elixir and do kind of liquids, maybe the living greens, throughout the day, prolonging the fast, a little bit of that intermittent fasting, and then have your bigger meal later on. And you just definitely, you don't get bogged down. We were just talking with Troy Casey, and he was saying that the original man, they were out there hunting and they're doing their things our bodies are used to. They wouldn't eat a bunch of food and get brain fog, and they would go out and hunting and gathering, getting their animals, and,
Yeah.
and our bodies are used to kind of prolonging that fast.
Right.
But you know, I ski raced for University of Colorado, and I trained with the U.S. ski team,
Nice.
and so I did some high level athletics and a lot of, you know, that visualization, a lot of the mind
Yeah.
game aspect of it.
Right.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
The Hawaii, this basketball team on the way over from Hawaii was, I was talking to this guy, I said, you ever visualize your baskets? And he's like, yeah, you know, sometimes. And wasn't there a study done?
Real study. I talk about that in my classes.
Yeah, go ahead and share.
Yeah, it took 20 people, and they, 10 of them had to shoot free throws. I think they did 100 a day for 3 months, and the other, or maybe 1 month, and the others did meditation on making every single free throw.
Just
visualizing and meditation, making every single shot 100 a day for the same amount of time. At the end of the time period, they came together, and the ones who visualized it made more free throws than the ones who were actually physically there in the third dimension. So that tells you.
There you go.
And the power of manifestation is very real. And so when you're operating in unconditional love, you're energizing yourself with superfoods, and you eliminate all your fear. You believe in what's going to happen, but also the thing that you're trying to manifest, you need to know everything about it, and you need to own it in your meditations. So if it's a car, for example, the color, the type, the model, the tires, what type of rims, all the accessories on the interior, what kind of radio, what kind of stereo, what kind of, does it have heated seats, non-heated seats, you know, is it electrics or is it reclining? All this information, you need to have it in your head, like if you own this car. And in my manifestation meditations, I teach people to actually meditate on owning that particular thing. If it's a car, you're driving it around. The first day, what do? You go to your friend's house and you show, oh, look, I got my new car. Let them get in it, take a spin. You visualize this as if it's already yours. Not that if you're going to get it, but that you already know it's yours. Go test drive the cars. Figure out which one, exact one you want. When you find out which is the exact one you want, even if you can't buy it that moment, it doesn't matter. Get the idea in your head that this is mine now. You claim it, and once you claim it, then you vocalize it. Because vocalization creates cymatic frequencies, and that has power over the ether of space-time. You're literally controlling space-time itself with vocalization. That's what we have with these vocal boxes. So you're speaking it into existence, you're meditating on it, you're eating energetic foods, you've eliminated all the fear, operating unconditional love, and with all those things working together, the other thing is you're putting the action behind your goal plan. So I design a goal plan for people. And so they've got the long-term, short-term, medium-term goal to acquire this manifestation, whatever it is. But we work backwards. So we know what the long-term is. So now we reverse engineer it to the medium, and from the medium, we reverse engineer it to the long-term, to the short-term, so that they know how to step it up and what they've got to do.
And in that stepping up, that seems perfect, because, you know, ultimately that's what they need to get to is, you know, driving around and feeling it and all that. Because if they're actually doing that, they're having the emotional experience of doing it, which that is what's real. This realm is the dream time.
This is dream, that's sleepy time we're in. Yeah.
And so we don't realize that we're creating, and this isn't where it's at. Where it's at is where our consciousness is right now, because that's where this future projection is going to come from.
Right.
And so if you can actually go there to those experiences, you don't actually have to have the physical thing.
That's right.
And you don't need to wait for the validation of it coming in your life. If you can get there and you crack the code, then you're going to start to experience those
That's the
manifestations.
key. You make that link. So I tell people.
So you have a whole course that steps them up to that.
Our whole course that steps them up. We do these worksheets in the actual class. It's a 5-hour class.
You do it all live, or do you have online courses?
It's all live. I have pre-recorded them, so at some point I will get them edited professionally and put them probably on a streaming site. But so far it's just all been in person. You know, but it's really amazing. It's really, a lot of people are coming back with some amazing, results.
Yeah, what are some things people are experiencing?
People have manifested the house of their dreams that they've been looking for, vacations they've been waiting to go on for decades, and not having any money to go on the vacations, getting cars without having huge down payments to get these cars. Those have been the 3 biggest. Relationships has also been another thing. A few people have gotten the relationship they were looking for. A better position one person, a better position at a job. Another person finally was able to break free of working and start their own company, and the company's doing very, very successful, and I mentor them every 2 months. So just various different aspects of life, you know.
And if someone says, "Oh, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy," it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
So what?
Listen, we were sent here to save ourselves.
Right.
Period. There's nobody coming to save you. There's nobody coming to save you. Save yourself. You are the savior you've been looking for.
Powerful message. Well, you know, we always want to put that creator God or savior into something else, but like when we were up there at ECETI, you know, and we saw the lights up on the mountain, you know, people have seen a lot of lights throughout time. We saw a lot of lights up there, you know, all the UFOs
I saw them as well.
flying,
I've been to
all the things
ECETI
on the mountain. So when you were up there and you saw the lights on the mountain blazing up, do you think that's a higher dimensional being creating some kind of Merkabic light field or something? When I said that to the Edge of Wonder guys, they said he just said Merkabic. I think Rob just said he just said Merkabic.
That sounds like him.
You say Merkabic?
I just say Merkaba.
Okay.
Or Merkaba, Merkaba. You can say either way. You can even say Merkava if you're talking about the Hebrew format. But it's so many, because we don't know exactly what they are. It could be multidimensional beings. It could be beings that are in the third dimension but are in a multi-spectrum and light span, so that they can flip into our visual light range and then flip out of it. It could be beings that operate in X-ray, beings that operate in gamma ray. I mean, there's so many. We only see this percentage. I mean, we see a very 1% of light waves, right? So right around us all right now, there's all kind of things going on. We can't see. So
do you think our toroidal field that we have is our Merkabic field?
Oh, absolutely.
Our Merkaba field that we can turn on?
It is, and it's on all the time, but we're not tapping into it like we should be able to all the time. We've been so disconnected, we don't even realize we have it. I tell people, when you walk through a room of crowded people, just by changing the way you think about yourself and the way you think about other people, you can actually change the field, electronic field of all these people's toroidal energy fields as you walk through a crowd. That's how much power we have.
Just like the only thing you need to structure your water is send that consciousness to it as you drink
That's it. That is it.
So can you ground the Merkaba for our audience to see where you think we're going with that and how it's going to play into our awakening?
You know, I think as we get closer, moving up towards the middle of the Silver Age, which is where I think we're kind of in the Tetra Yuga, trying to get back to that golden age. We're like the pioneers. You know, we meaning everybody looking at this, everybody trying to learn and raise their consciousness.
All the star seeds that are here now.
Right. This is the beginning phases of something huge. And some of us will be able to tap into our Merkabas, and I do a Merkaba meditation. I taught Merkaba Saturday night here. I taught a Merkaba quantum walking session here, and how to get into the counter-rotating tetrahedron and the frequencies to listen to help you get that movement going, 936 hertz to get the movement shifting and get you moving. But eventually where I think it's going to go is, as we elevate as a species on this planet, being able to go through portals, get warp drive and all these different types of technologies to get from planet to planet. I believe that at some point in the golden age, we'll get into our own Merkaba and we'll just move from place to place. We'll disappear here and reappear over there,
Yeshua appeared to have the ability to bilocate, and he said, we're going to be able to do equal to and more than him.
That's
so
right.
I feel like it's coming as well.
I'm trying to tell people, man. I try to able to listen, but that's what you just said is right on point.
I always said when the ETs come and land in our backyard, it's going to be you and I. And I always said in our ship, but it might just be our light ship as well.
Could be our light ship. I mean, we'll start off in physical ships eventually, but I think long term, as we elevate our frequencies and maybe even evolve out of these avatar bodies to a higher light body, and we're all made of light right now anyway, but there's frequencies of light. Just like the frequencies of light that we can see with the human eyes, those are frequencies that we can see. And there's higher frequencies above that. So as we evolve this avatar body to higher frequencies in the future, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Well, let's leave you with that. And from free energy to manifestation to Merkaba.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what we'll call this.
Yeah, that's it.
It's been awesome.
Thank you, man.
Billy
Appreciate
Carson.
it.
We can find you at Forbidden Knowledge.
Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. And so on all social media platforms, just put in BIDDEN, Forbidden Knowledge. And my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, has been a bestseller now for 10 months straight on Amazon, and it's available worldwide.
And if you're seeing this somewhere else, check out my YouTube channel, World Awake TV. Like, subscribe, and smash the notification bell so you know that you can get more of this good stuff. And it's been a real absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Remember, we are dreaming this world awake, and bye for now.